Good morning, everyone from all over the world. My name is Kamchatslia. My English name is Debra Lazzar. I am from Sauk Nation, and it's located on Vancouver Island in British Columbia. I am the daughter of Hayupanis, also known in the English language as Gerald Lazzar. I just want to explain how it's really important to acknowledge my ancestors and my ancestral given name. It is a way of respect and inviting my ancestors into the space that I'm speaking in. And it gives us courage and honor and strength. And I would also like to acknowledge any of my fellow Indigenous Seroptimus members who are in attendance today on this meeting. It's so important to recognize and celebrate extraordinary women embodying the spirit of resilience, leadership, and cultural preservation. So our club wanted to reach out and increase an Indigenous award for women. And we started the process asking, how can we engage and get more participation? Like, what are we missing? So I did a mini survey on Facebook asking why would you apply or not apply for an education award? And I put this out to all the Indigenous connections that I had. And a lot of women said, I don't have the time. And it's just highly likely that's just going to go to another white woman, anyways. And so then we went back to the table and said, let's remove some barriers. Like, let's look at a different process. So to start that process, we wanted to come up with a name. And so I kind of, was looking at the different communities I had worked in and where I'm from. And so I just really love the Kwetlal bulb. And it's a really nice purple, long stem purple flower. And it's a traditional food of the Songhees and Esquimalt people. And that is the Indigenous community where our club is based at. And I really liked the flower, and I thought it was just so great because that was a staple food for the Indigenous and Songhees people. And it was always gathered by women and children. So it was so honoring. And then we thought, like how to break down those barriers of asking the same questions or having them do a big long essay. And so my suggestion was to have it something else, like let's have them do a video, and let's be not so much on the academics, but maybe on their cultural perspective of maybe what their family does for their gathering of food or other items. So that could be like beading, carving, if they their family is a salmon family, like they gather salmon, they smoke the salmon, like something like that, and just giving them an easier way to present that to us, whether that was through video, or they could write something out, or they could present their final product and maybe the process of what's involved. And I just thought that was a great way to teach our club in reconciliation and to share that information to our club so they could learn a bit more about the Indigenous culture. So we have done it, I believe, for 3 years. And the other thing that I wanted to do as part of that award was, because awards are always for post-secondary, usually for post-secondary education. But my point was that there's so many women that are really struggling just to get into post-secondary. So women that, have different traditional responsibilities, like they have the traditional longhouse is the culture that all the nations on Southern Vancouver Island have, where you have commitment to your culture. You might be taking care of your grandparents, maybe taking care of your niece and nephews, and you're managing the whole house and your own kids, and you're trying to, get your grocery shopping done. And so they're really struggling and really trying to get, but they never get acknowledged, or they never are honored that, you're doing a great job, like you're trying to, get into post-secondary. Like that's huge. So this year we had one recipient that was actually doing that. The last 2 years it was post-secondary, but so I was just so honored and just so great because that was what we created this award was for somebody, for her and her family. Like they had gone through a lot of things, and they, like, her family was just telling her, you just need to give up and not do this. Like, you're not going to get into post-secondary. And she just carried on, and I just think it was so wonderful. So how we gathered together to honor, and we just really want to celebrate the achievements of the Indigenous women. We want to acknowledge the challenges and obstacles they've overcome, and all the sacrifices they've made, and also the resilience that they've shown in the face of adversity. And then the other thing I wanted to mention was the journey of an Indigenous woman in walking two worlds is a testament to strength, beauty, and spirit of our people, and a reminder of the power of community, culture, and connection for shaping the lives of our future. And I'm discussing that because a lot of times the elders say, as Indigenous people, and I think especially Indigenous women, we are walking in two worlds. Like, we have our left foot in our Indigenous community, our culture, our background, our traditions, and then we have our right foot in our career or our education and into the modern world. And we think we can always balance and go through, but that isn't always the case, and it's hard. So part of this award, I wanted to be part of the change, and I wanted to always express the deepest gratitude from our SI club, and just showing these women, our appreciation for their leadership, for their dedication, and for their unwavering commitment to advancing their education and creating the rights for the well-being of future women and the unborn Indigenous women in their communities. And their accomplishments inspire us, their courage empowers us, and their legacy will endure as resiliency for generations to come. And through the recognition that we're instilling, I hope that it's a reminder of the impact that these women have had in their community, and to honor them and to realize the respect and admiration that we hold for these women, and the hope and inspiration to instill in every Indigenous woman and promoting them. And so going back to walking in the two worlds as an Indigenous woman, it's complex and challenging, and it reflects the intersection of your traditional values and the modern realities. And Indigenous women find themselves balancing the demands and expectations of their Indigenous community, creating sometimes a conflicting identity. For many Indigenous women, navigating the two worlds means embracing their cultural heritage while adapting to the changing dynamics of the modern world. It involves honoring ancestral teachings and languages and customs, while also seeking your education, career opportunities, and personal growth outside of the traditional norms. This dual identity can be a place of belonging and empowerment, but it can also bring isolation, confusion, and cultural disconnect. And the Indigenous women walking in two worlds, they face a lot of challenges reserving to preserving their cultural identity, overcoming discrimination in their own community, and stereotypes in their community, as well as in the modern world. They often experience the tension between preserving the traditional roles and responsibilities within their communities and pursuing personal aspirations and goals that may diverge from cultural norms. But yet, at the same time, Indigenous women bring unique perspectives, strength, and resilience to both their Indigenous communities and the broader society. They serve as cultural ambassadors, bringing the gap between the traditional knowledge and contemporary issues, and advocating for social justice, environmental stewardship, and cultural revitalization. Ultimately, being Indigenous and walking in two worlds for an Indigenous woman is a journey of self-discovery, empowerment, and resistance. It's about embracing the complexities of one's identity, celebrating the richness of one's cultural heritage, and forging a path that honors both the traditions of the past and possibilities of the future. It is a testament of strength, resilience, and beauty of Indigenous women who navigate the complexities of history, culture, and identity with courage, grace, and determination. Part of our ceremony that we do on honoring the women that received this award is I brought in some of my cultural identity to the ceremony, and I perform a blanketing ceremony. The native blanketing ceremony holds a special place in all the traditions, the cultural traditions of all the Indigenous communities. The ceremony is sacred and meaningful, practices and promotes unity, healing, and connection with the spirit world. The act of blanketing somebody symbolizes protection, warmth, and comfort, and it's often used to honor individuals for their contributions, achievements, or milestones in life. During the blanket ceremony, a special blanket is chosen and it's draped around the shoulders of the honoree by community leaders or elders. And this gesture is a powerful symbol of the community's acceptance, support, and love for the individual being honored. In addition to honoring individuals, the native blanket ceremony is also used for healing and reconciliation within communities by coming together to celebrate and support one another. People can heal past wounds, build stronger relationships, and reaffirm their cultural identity. And I think that is so important for the SI Club to do because it's showing the reconciliation and is also, just showing the love that you have for that individual and that you understand like all the things that she's been through and maybe just to help in covering up those traumas and to help them, get through it and know that they have people in their corner that are really supporting them and advocating for them. And I also have something that my family does is this is a cedar woven headband made from the bark of the cedar tree. And so my family has these made up. And so it gets placed on their head during the ceremony. And then I want to talk about, so being covered by a cedar headband holds deep cultural and spiritual significance in my family and other Indigenous communities. The cedar tree is symbolizing strength, protection, and connection to the earth and spiritual world. And I don't know, when you put it on, you just feel stuff just like coming down on you, like just like a really good feeling. The cedar tree is symbolizing of strength, protection, and connection to the earth and spiritual world. Wearing a cedar headband is a powerful symbol of honor, respect, and connection in one's heritage and ancestors. In honor of representing my family of strong, resilient women and a line of matriarchs, I do hope that this act makes my ancestors proud and sharing some of our teachings and giving a different perspective of our way of life. This is a tradition that we symbolize as part of our SI Club to each Indigenous participant in receipt of rewards from our club. It's a small part of our reconciliation to the women of Indigenous community in hopes of a broader reconciliation for all.